right, excellent afternoon to all those who are just joining me for the first time after the inauguration. Yes, I'm a bit excited, and I've been telling my people, my team here, that I hope that they bring in the A game with this new administration. Yes, I'm saying it on air. All right, guys, it's the dawn of the new era, and I congratulate Nigeria or Nigerians on this inauguration of President President Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I know it takes a lot to get familiar with that, and of course his vice Kashima Shettima into office. I congratulate Nigerians again for being able in the last 24 hours to sustain democratic rule. Yes, despite the challenges, I pray and hope that this new era brings peace, brings unity, and of course prosperity at all fronts. Nigerians at all fronts are hoping and praying that things get better, especially when it comes to our economy. But with that, I say excellent and gracious afternoon again. Welcome to another interesting episode of Real Talk with Kike. I remain your convener, Kike Atanda-Owo. Guys, before I start, drawing all my viewers with pleasantry, let's go to hear what history has for us today. Stay with me. I'll be right back.
2012, the police in Kaduna detonated an improvised explosive device, IED, concealed in a television set and planted at Katsina roundabout at the Madu Bello Way. The former commissioner of police in Kaduna, Mr. Jinjiri Abubakar, who confirmed the incident, said the explosive was planted around 4 a.m. and was found around 6 a.m.
Many thanks for staying with me. I think my comment on this day in history segment is that I feel that there's an ignition of an improvised explosive device in Kaduna in 2012, to be precise, which is a chilling reminder of the challenges that we face in maintaining safety and security, and it highlights the importance of strong law enforcement and intelligence efforts to, prevent such acts of terror. So I think that my message on this day in history segment is that we must remain united in our commitment to building a society that rejects violence and, of course, the extremists, so to speak, and work together to foster peace and harmony in our country, Nigeria. And I hope that this new administration will kind of help us to put behind all the negative legacies that quite a number of people have put into remnants today. Anyways, let me go on a quick break to get a message from my sponsors. Please stay with me. I'll be right back. Many thanks for staying with me. I think I would like to give a brief of what transpired yesterday, May 29, by saying that I, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, do solemnly swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the Federal Republic of Nigeria, that I will preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So help me God. Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu swore at the Eagle Square in Abuja. This was the beacon of hope, if you ask me, and of course the beginning of a new era for over 200 million Nigerians who watched and was present at the inauguration for the 16th president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So guys, on the live show today, I will be having a more welcoming edition for the new president, and I will be touching on areas of promises and how Nigerians can collaborate with the new government to achieve a more prosperous future for the entire country. But before I dive straight to the topic I think it's important for me to show the profile of my guest right now. She has been on this platform a couple of times, but for those who are just watching for the first time, I think it's important for you to watch this. Stay with me. I'll be right back. All right, many thanks for staying with him, and I want to use this opportunity to welcome Barrister Hannatu Musawa on the show. It's a pleasure to have you again on Real Talk with Kike via our studio in Abuja. How are you doing today, ma'am?
An effervescent beauty, Sister Kike. I'm doing very well, thank you very much.
Many
on
thanks.
This new dawn in Nigeria with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, I bid you and wish you good afternoon.
All right, that was a great opening speech right there. But first off, you know, I want to say congratulations to you too, because you are one of the backbone, as far as I'm concerned, of the campaign that brought the president to power. So people like me supporting for a certain reason, or should I just put because of our, people will say because of our tribe and all of that, but that was one of the reasons why I was supporting him for this campaign. But I am sure many people got their belief from faces like you behind his campaign, with you being a woman and an unbiased northerner. So how does that sit with you, considering the fact that you did a documentary piece for the president yesterday, you know, showcasing the family, that actually touched me, because you were very articulate, you had the poise as usual, but, you know, I must put to fall that people like you had helped quite a number of people to kind of support his campaign. I think I would like to open the conversation from here.
Thank you again, Sister Kike. Thank you again, Sister Kike. You know, for me, I was just very honored that Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu saw something in me very early that he felt could bring value to the movement and to the campaign. And it was a very easy move for me, because I believed in him. I think of all the people that I've ever been together with, or sort of had allegiance to in politics, and I've been in politics since 2002, none really sat well with my spirit as much as Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu did. And so I was just very happy to be able to play a very, very small part, and to be able to speak on his behalf at times, you know, as the deputy spokesperson. And hopefully, I think it was important, because being a woman, and specifically being a northern woman, you know, I was able to sort of resonate maybe with a certain demographic, which is from the north, and also women generally. So, you know, I'm just really glad that he gave people like me.
All right, I think there's a disconnection from our Abuja studio right there. Let's go on a quick break and return after the connection.
It was a poem that I turned into a documentary, and I'm glad that they aired it yesterday at the inauguration.
All right, can you hear me, ma'am?
Can.
All right, fantastic. You're all right, because I was struggling with the audio from your end. But quickly, you know, Nigeria has managed in the last 24 years, since 1999, you know, to sustain democratic rule, despite the challenges in our hands. And Nigerians are, you know, dogged and resilient with the democracy, and even past military leaders have praised that. What's your submission with this?
Sorry, Ms. Kike, can you repeat that, because the audio went off for a minute?
What I was trying to say is that Nigerians have struggled. They've struggled with what have happened, and I feel that Nigeria has managed in the last 24 years, since 1999, to sustain democratic rule despite the challenges. Nigerians are resilient people, and I must ask you, with this democracy and even past military leaders that have praised what transpired now, what's your take thus far with the democratic and, of course, the resilience in us in making sure that we move forward and you come together as one?
You know, I think, honestly, Nigeria is one of the luckiest countries. You know, we went through a period where we saw this military rule completely submerge our existence to a point that we really didn't know anything but that particular system. But in 1999, we were very lucky to come into this democratic sort of dispensation, this democratic system. And, you know, at the very beginning, I think many Nigerians had trepidation that we would be able to sustain democracy merely by nature of what we had been through before 1999. But somehow, by the grace of the Almighty, we've been able to hold our own. We've been able to hold fort to the point that now we have had 7 transitions and we have had, I think, 24 years of straight democracy. And, you know, this is something that, of course, it's not without its challenges, as we've seen in the outcome in the last general elections. But somehow, through this process and through the experiences that we're gaining through the process, we're able to strengthen our democracy. And thank God we have a system whereby even in the democratic system, if you're not happy, say, with the outcome of the elections, you know, people do have a channel which they can channel their grievances. So we thank God that we've seen 7 straight years of different transitions in a democratic system. And I hope that it goes from strength to strength. And with Bola Ahmed Tinubu as the president of Nigeria, I'm sure that he will do everything in his power and everything that is necessary to give support to this system that will be able to strengthen our democracy so that Nigerians can, you know, be a stronger nation moving forward.
For that submission right there, you know, listening to you and knowing that he will do everything in his power to make sure that things are things are being done. Because I want to kind of quote the former head of state Ibrahim Babangida, you know, who said that Bola Tinubu is very skillful, is a skillful politician who needs to apply his skills to unite and, of course, you know, polarize the nation. You know, he must galvanize or energize Nigerians' economic heavyweights. Those were his words, especially when it comes to home and, of course, in diaspora, those abroad, to address the economy of the nation. How do you think that he will use his political craftsmanship, for lack of a better word right now, to achieve this from what Babangida said?
I think President Tinubu is a man that is very, very determined, you know, and I think he also feels as if he has a lot to prove. And of course, we understand that there are very many sections in the country who feel disenfranchised as a result of the outcome of the last elections. And thankfully, they're doing the right thing by channeling their grievances through the tribunal. But for me, what I know of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, or President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, I think we must get used to calling him President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, you know, is he's a man who really has the ability and the capacity to galvanize the country in the way that it needs to. It is no secret what needs to be done in this country. We need to sort out issue of insecurity, issue of economics, so many areas that need the sort of galvanization that he is able to give. And I know that there are many, many brilliant Nigerians, and Bola Tinubu just happens to be one of those brilliant Nigerians. He is a man that has the know-how and the innovation and has the ability to even pick the best minds to sort of headhunt that will be able to solve, or rather to give Nigerians the deliverables that he has been able to promise within his action plan. And I think from yesterday, when he took took his oath of office, even from his speech, you can see that he's a man that is not, they say, hit the ground running, but I think he's actually beginning to hit the ground sprinting, because he has no time to lose whatsoever. He has a lot to prove to Nigerians, and he has a lot to give back to Nigerians. And I think, like President Ibrahim Babangida said, he has the ability to really, really galvanize not only his base, but to galvanize even those that are not his base, and get Nigerians to sort of play a part in being part of his governing style, and also to play a part in seeing how we can each individually bring value in a way that will only progress the nation.
Submission right there. You know, talking about doing the right thing, which was part of your submission earlier, you know, I believe President Asiwaju is not a grudge-keeping leader who believes in, I believe that he believes in inclusivity and, of course, collaborative participation of all stakeholders. So I must ask you, do you think he may be considering the compensation of his political adversaries from other parties into key strategic position to move the economy forward? What's your take on this?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, he said it yesterday. He's no longer a party man. He's the president of all Nigerians, despite whichever side of the political divide you are. Asiwaju is a unifier. Asiwaju is a man who only sees things through one set of eyes. And that set of eyes specifically now is through the set of being a Nigerian. It does not matter to him whether your tribe, creed, or whatever. And it doesn't matter to him what party you are in. For him now, it's all about Nigeria. And I think it is important, you know, not only that he says it, that he shows it. And so keeping that in mind, and keeping in mind the fact that he really, really wants to make a difference to Nigeria and move Nigeria forward, he is going to pick the best minds and the best brains. And it does not matter which side of the divide they are, what party they were in, where they're from. It doesn't matter to him. For him now, the challenge is to be able to really scout around within the context of Nigeria and not just within one party. And I'm quite confident that you will see a number of people, even outside the APC, forming part of his larger government, to people that have the ability to really deliver. That's for him, that is paramount. And I think in the next coming weeks, we will see that he has reached out to people that he feels have the ability to add the sort of value that we're looking for. And that will be a good sign to Nigeria for everybody to know that for him, what is paramount is what is in the best interest of Nigeria.
Fantastic one right there. And I would like to reemphasize, because I know that putting the flyer of this show out there today, there were a lot of mixed reactions. When you say that it doesn't matter to him, he's ready to work with all parties and the like, there are quite a number of people who even send some ill messages to me, you know, and wondering why this is happening, you know. But I just want to quickly, it doesn't matter to me, but I just feel that there are issues of division, religiosity, tribal sentiments before and during the election. And I want to believe President Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu will want to unify, just like you've said, the country along other divides. But for those who are yet to come on board, especially with the fact that, if you ask me, I feel that those the presidential candidates of other parties, when when Bola Ahmed Tinubu, I apologize, when Bola Ahmed Tinubu reaches out to them, I feel that onus is on them to try to carry their followers along, to understand that there is some form of unity, because there are regions that feel that there's a marginalization the most in this country. I must keep it real on this platform, despite with the fact that I've been receiving a lot of ill messages, you know, after putting the flyer out there. But I want you to further, you know, emphasize on what the plans of the president is in, you know, changing this narrative, because there can't be prosperity without unity.
Yeah, I think the line again went off towards the end. I think you were talking about, if I got your question correct, is the onus of the other candidates playing a part in sort of galvanizing their own base. But yes, of course, from the beginning, he's reached out, even after the election, he's reached out to all the candidates, offered his hand of, you know, support, unity, friendship for them to join him on this journey to make Nigeria better. We understand that. But, you know, I, as a person, know that perhaps could be easier said than done, because, you know, after the last elections, a lot of emotions were sort of thrown up, and I think it would be unfair to the other candidates to sort of say that, you know, they have that particular responsibility. I think they have to go through the motions that they're feeling as a result of the outcome of the elections from their own perception. But at the same time, we hope that they're able to overcome whatever, you know, they feel or think, and to also put Nigeria first, and to look at how we can unify Nigeria. There's always, in an election, there's going to be one winner. That's just the way it is. And in the last election, it was Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And, you know, while you hear different narratives talking about the outcome of the election, but there are many of us who actually believe that last election was the most reflective of the wishes and wills of Nigerians. I honestly, almost all the people that I know within my community feel that way. So, you know, but at the same time, we have to also respect and understand that people may not feel the way we feel. We can only continue from the position of leadership that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is. We can only continue to reach out to everyone and to continue to plead with the other candidates and other people from different sides of the divide to join us on this journey to bring value and resurgence to Nigeria. Because if Asiwaju Bola, or rather if President Bola Ahmed Tinubu doesn't succeed as president, it impacts on all of us. So it is in the best interest of Nigeria, since he is the one that the Almighty has given this responsibility to. It is important for us to help him succeed, because his success is each of our successes as well.
Absolutely. Many thanks for that submission right there. We'll go on a quick break, and when we return, the conversation continues. Stay with me. I'll be right back. All right, glad to know you're still with me. In case you just joined the show, our conversation today is about the new era for Nigeria under the leadership of the new sworn-in president, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and his vice, Kashima Shettima, as a congratulatory edition of Real Talk with Kike. I have been discussing with my intelligent guests from Abuja studio, Barrister Hannatu Musawa, on the plans and, of course, the promises of the new administration towards fostering peace and, of course, inclusivity and prosperity for all as Nigerians. And I must say many thanks for all your submission thus far, Barrister Hannatu. But quickly, you know, before we go further, I think it's important for me to open our phone lines, because I know that there are quite a number of people that want to partake in this conversation. Remember, the number to call is 080-988-77400. And of course, it's showing on your screen right now. And of course, we're streaming live on Facebook and on YouTube page, both on Real Talk with Kike platform and on Silverbird platform. Ma'am, let me come to you, and I must say thank you so much for showing light, especially when it comes to unity and us moving forward as one. But when you say that, you know, when you were talking earlier, you were talking about, you know, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu hitting the ground running. I agree with you, because President Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu said he will hit the ground running from day one in office, and the most critical decision among the first set of policies in the subsidy removal, as he has earlier promised. And it seems that, you know, Nigerians should be more prepared for a leader who will keep his word, because I know that this has been on the front burner for a while. But I must ask you, what are your comments on this in terms of trust and will I say what's the word now? Yeah, I think the word is trust when it comes to his administration, you know, with all that is happening right now. Since he mentioned the subsidy removal, it seems as if most gas stations, both in Abuja and Lagos, Benin, name it, you know, there's a lot of queue right now, despite the fact that the subsidy is yet to be removed. He mentioned that it will be removed. What's your take on this? You
know, when he made that submission in his speech about the removal of subsidy, for me, it showed a couple of things. Apart from the fact that it showed that he was ready to hit the ground sprinting, as I would say, it also shows that he's ready to take the tough decisions. And there is no doubt a decision like that is going to be difficult initially for the people of the country. There's no doubt about that. But you know, you in the position of power, they say with great power comes great responsibility. In the position he is in, he has to take the right decision for the overall collective and the future of Nigeria. And the removal of subsidy is one. You know, the removal of subsidy has been a very sort of murky topic for the past leaders, because we know that we must remove subsidy, but at the same time, the effect on the common person initially is one that is going to be very, very biting, and we understand that. But, you know, so you found governments in the past have sort of tiptoed around the issue. But Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, as the president, came in yesterday and declared that he's going to remove subsidy. It needs to be done in order for us to go through the path of having a more wholesome and healthy economy. And it just shows you that he is someone who is ready to take the right decisions, no matter how difficult it's going to be. But at the end of the day, in the long run, people will see the benefit of that. And because he's done something like that, I think this will now play into the issue of trust. He is a leader that you can trust as a Nigerian, because he is a leader that is ready to take the tough decisions that will make the country better in the long run. I'm glad that he took that decision yesterday, and in his speech, he was able to articulate most of the areas of his policy framework, the things that he wants to lay down for Nigeria. And by him doing that yesterday, he is reiterating his campaign promises. And it's a good thing that he has done that, because now this puts him in a position where he has no choice but to fulfill those campaign promises, which have now been crystallized, so to speak, into his governing style by the fact that he declared them yesterday, and you know, he made it sacrosanct that this is what he's going to do. And just by going through that speech, I think Nigerians can give him a chance to, well, you can trust him. He's definitely a leader that you can trust. But even those that are skeptical should give him the chance to see what he will do. And I honestly do believe that as president, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu will show Nigerians that he is the right man for the job, and he's the right man at this very crucial time and juncture in our lives as countrymen and women.
Thanks for that insight, but I just think that there was a miscommunication from his message yesterday, which is about, I'm about to remove the first subsidy to I have removed it. I think that's where the miscommunication comes in from. But moving away from that, you know, I know that quick appointments like Dele, Alake and many more have been made, which shows that there's absolutely no time for waste, because he's ready for action. And these are trusted individuals that has worked with him over time in terms of politics and, of course, administration. I must ask you, what do you envisage in terms of productivity level of this administration?
Yeah, thank you. Can I just say, just to make a small correction, I think the story in the media about Dele Alake's appointment is not completely correct. I know that in the media, even after the election, you have all these spurious lists coming out with, you know, with positions allocated here and there, but there are speculations. And as far as I know, the appointment that was reported in the news yesterday about Dele Alake, I think it is not correct. It's not a formal one that was made, and from what I understand, it's just a mere rumor. So put that aside. You know, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, I think, is gonna, definitely we know he's not gonna waste any time in making the right appointments or in declaring his choices for specifically for key roles. Because, you know, through the campaign, you saw him in Chatham House, where he allocated questions to people. You know, he has said from the beginning that he's someone who works with a team. But you know, he's not going to rule alone, and he displayed that in Chatham House in his governing style, and that's what you're going to see here. And in order to do that, he has to be quick in choosing his team and choosing key positions. I'm sure in his mind, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu knows exactly what he's going to do. But any speculation so far is not correct. But I'm sure in his mind, he knows what he's going to do. And very soon, we're going to see those key appointments being announced. But I think for now, what is on the front burner, perhaps, is the leadership contest in the National Assembly. Once we get that over, then we will probably have more information as to who he's going to choose in some of the other positions. But I think within the next few days, maybe reports will start coming out officially about the key sort of necessary appointments that he needs to make immediately.
All right, fantastic. Well, many thanks for the clarity or clarification with the appointment that has been running through socials. But, you know, the average Nigerian is expecting magic. We know that, you know, people want to be quick to hold him accountable to his promises. How should Nigerians be managing their expectations right now?
It's only natural for there to be anticipation as to, you know, what he's going to bring to the table. But I must say that, and of course, many the expectations are high, and I think it is important for there to be those high expectations, because if not for anything, it sort of keeps those that have been entrusted with the power of this nation. It keeps them on their toes. So for me personally, I think it's a good thing for Nigerians to have that high expectation. And I think, you know, it's not a problem for Nigerians to have those expectations, because President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is a man that is able to realize and to be able to sort of confront those expectations in the way that is necessary. But, you know, at the same time, he's not going to let it derail him in any way. He's going to do his best, and he's going to try to do even beyond his best. He is a very, very, very determined president since yesterday. And, you know, Nigerians, it's good to have those expectations, and it is healthy for us to have it, because those expectations are what is going to keep those that have been entrusted with power on their toes. Because we really need a government that is really going to give back to Nigeria in the way that it needs to. And we are hopeful that the presidency and government and administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is going to be able to do that. And we need the help of Nigerians to give us that feedback as to how the governing style and the policies are going to be received for Nigerians, how it impacts them. Because no matter what happens or no matter what is in his action plan, you know, he's also a very listening sort of leader. So he will listen to Nigerians, and it's good for Nigerians to give him that feedback so that he knows how he can continue to sort of cater to the needs of Nigerians in the way that they need and deserve.
Many thanks again, because the reason why I asked the question earlier is because I know that there are quite a number of people who are concerned about our debt profile. People are wondering, like some of the messages that I received today, people are wondering if Asiwaju is going to be relying on what his predecessor did in terms of his approach of borrowing to sustain economic financial stability of the country, or there is another different approach for his tenure. But I'm putting that aside because I understand that we are running out of time. But I cannot help but ask you this last question before we wrap up this interview, because I believe in women inclusion in politics, and seeing you in the campaign team makes me feel really happy, you know, because I feel that you being part of this administration has kind of given hope in terms of promises made and, of course, assurances given to Nigerians for accountability, based on the fact that people like you are on that corridor and you were part of the campaign team, you know, and all of that. So I want to ask you, beyond the campaign, I hope that you are still going to be part of these active stakeholders in the new era, that women like you and I can still hold on to, hold on to people like you for accountability based on the promises he made during campaign.
I think, yes, it's good women inclusion. But honestly, throughout the campaign, we saw many, many women being included in core areas of the campaign. And even, for example, the inauguration dinner that we had yesterday, where there was a committee that was set up, but it was like almost 90% women. And up until now, since the election victory, most of the committees that have been set up have constituted the majority of women. So definitely, I know that Asiwaju Bola Ahmed, or President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, is not going to renege on his promise to give women the rightful sort of platform that they need, because it's only when we have that platform that we can not only inspire other women to come on board, but also to make decisions through the eyes of a woman in a way that is more sensitive to the needs and plights of women. But, you know, me aside, there are honestly a lot of other women that have not only have played much bigger roles than I have, and have been more effective to the to our victory than I have. And, you know, we leave it to the Almighty. Of course, it's Asiwaju's, is President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's decision, but at the same time, we know that power is only given for the Almighty. So for myself, I'm looking to the Almighty. If I'm going to be able to add value anywhere, then, you know, I should be prepared and ready to do so. But there are very many women, the woman leader, you have people like Abike Dabiri, you have Iman Suleiman, you have Zainab Bubamara, Zainab Okete, Stella. There's so many women that have, Barrister Uju Kennedy. There are so many women, Jennifer, that I can't even begin to tell you how he has empowered really brilliant cerebral women that have maybe not played a very public role. You know, I was a public, I had a public sort of role because I was the deputy spokesperson. So you saw me, you know, publicly. But there are very many women behind the scenes that played pivotal roles. And I really hope that within that sort of sphere, that he's able to pick those that are able to bring value, and even look beyond that, those women, people that didn't participate in the system, but that have the ability and the capacity to bring value. We are anticipating that he will bring them on board, and they will be able to sort of contribute their quota in adding to his presidency in a way, as I said before, that will value Nigerians.
For that brilliant submission right there. I just pray that people like you still remain as part of the active stakeholders in this coming administration, with the likes of my sister Abike Dabiri and co. But this is where I draw the conclusion of, this is where I draw the curtains of this segment, and I will be going into the last segment of the show, which I call Trending Stories. These are stories that affect you and I as Nigerians. And the first trending story that caught my attention is that of the tribute to Chief Raymond Dokpesi, you know, that passed yesterday, and is unfortunate. First off, I think before I come to you for your submission, I think it's important for me to quickly say this, that I commensurate with his family. No matter how pained anyone can be, it can be felt more it can be felt more, or it can be felt more, I don't know how to put this English now, than his immediate family, because it was my dad's friend. I must put it out there. You know, he played a role in some of my past events. I remember my first marriage, he was there as a chairperson alongside many other people because of the relationship he had with my biological dad. And of course, I'm sure my second dad, Alake, too, because he's very influential and of course a bridge breaker, a bridge builder as well. I'm sure that they have a relationship. But however, putting that aside, you know, honoring the remarkable legacy of Raymond Dokpesi, aside the fact that I've worked briefly with AIT as well, I want to pay my tribute to a visionary and trailblazer whose accomplishments, you know, I've left and will I say and indelible I don't know the word to use right now in terms of Nigerian media landscape. You know, his tireless pursuit of excellence, unwavering determination. You know, I don't know what word, because when it comes to broadcasting industry in our nation today, I think he has helped to, you know, travel the news beyond the shores of Nigeria, because when it comes to his visionary mindset extended to the realm of media, where he founded Ray Power FM as well. I must put that into fall, because the first privately owned radio station in Nigeria was Ray Power at the time, giving voice to the people, shaping public discourse as well. You know, his crowning achievement was the launch of also Nigerian first global TV station, an extraordinary feat that put African satellite broadcasting on the world stage by introducing 24-hour broadcasting in Nigeria, because it kind of reshaped the way we consume news, and of course in terms of entertainment, settling a new standard for the industry. And I must say that Dokpesi's influence extended, that was the word I was trying to remember, extended beyond, you know, national borders, as he propelled Africa, you know, independent signals to the United States, you know, showcasing the wealth of talent and creativity, you know, from our continent. So as chairperson of the Independent Broadcasting Association of Nigeria, you know, he championed the interest of broadcasters and paved the way for vibrant media landscape. You know, and I can keep going on and on, but his accolades and title, you know, bestowed upon him are a testimony to his unwavering dedication and immense contribution. Yesterday, we saw how quite a number of people were pointing out their own messages. You know, it was recognized both nationally and internationally. You know, Dokpesi's impact has been celebrated by prestigious organization, yes. And I'm applauding his exceptional leadership and of course the success of that Communication PLC as we reflect on the journey or on his extraordinary journey. You know, I use this medium to salute him and his family for his invaluable contribution that have placed Nigeria firmly on the world map. Let me come to you quickly, Ma. I don't know if you have met him in person or you've, you know, worked with him, you know, virtually or anything. What's your submission on this?
Yeah, first of all, my thoughts and prayers go out to the family of Chief Dokpesi. It is a very sad moment in, I think, the lives of Nigerians. He was such a great presence in Nigeria, and he was able to achieve so much. I've never met him, but I've admired him from afar. You know, recently I also lost my father, so I understand the pain of grief and can only imagine what the family are going through. So my thoughts and prayers are with him. But you know, with a man like late Chief Dokpesi, he has completely left his footprints in Nigeria, and Nigeria will not forget him anytime soon. He will be remembered by generations on and on for the, you know, for his achievements and what he has brought specifically in the area of media. So I will continue to pray for him and his family, and I urge especially young Nigerians to read up about him and to know the kind of contribution that he has brought not just to media but to Nigeria, and to look up to someone like him. Let us continue to spread his message and his story so that it can inspire young Nigerians to achieve the sort of feat that he did. And I pray for his family, and may his soul rest.
Amen, amen. I hope we still have time to take this second trendy story. And my second trendy story is coming from a place where Governor Makinde said that, you know, it became 12% poorer in the last 4 years. And when I saw this from an unbiased, you know, perspective, I want to believe that those figures are true. I also note that he was part of the few governors who stated his worth at the beginning of his administration in Oyo State then. You know, he said it was worth 55 or 56 billion naira at the time. I could remember that vividly because there were a lot of, you know, divided opinions on socials at the time. But Governor Seyi Makinde's humble admission of being 10 or 12% poorer during his tenure as the governor of Oyo State serves as a powerful reminder of selflessness. That's my opinion, and public transparency, because his willingness, you know, to openly share his personal financial impact demonstrates his commitment, if you ask me, to putting the needs of the state and its people above his own. And in a time when public officials are often associated with wealth, you know, and when I say wealth, I mean accumulation of wealth and, of course, personal gains, I feel that Governor Makinde's declaration showcases a refreshing example of leadership, and that should be characterized by integrity and accountability, by prioritizing the affairs of Oyo State over his own personal businesses, because he amplifies selflessness and a dedication to serving the public interest, if you ask me. But in order to how will I put it now, in case that this attitude of spelling out their assets or before and after office, I hope that tomorrow people will not come back and say that his claims were not true, because that would be very disappointing, knowing that I actually gave my opinion on this trending. But I don't know if we have time for me to come to you, but unfortunately we've run out of time. But I must say many thanks, Barrister Hannatu Musawa, for always honoring my invite. I do not take it for granted. I wish you the very best as you journey through this new administration. I genuinely pray that you are part of this active stakeholders. We are going to be part of the active stakeholders that will be in this administration, because quite a number of people have had a change of heart or opinion because of people like you, and knowing that you are from the north, but you remain very valuable to this new administration. With that, I think we've come to the end of another interesting edition of Real Talk with Kike. Courtesy my resourceful guest, Barrister Hannatu Musawa. Many thanks again for honoring my invite. My name remains Kike Atanda-Owo. Remain kind to one another. Bye now.